Action Panties masticates what were going to be epigraphs for Just Like I Like It. Roger Farr reminded me that giving the epigraphs the beginning, the entryway into the book, is like giving the writers of said epigraphs too much prime real estate. Action Panties gloms onto the language of Mehdi Hari Yazdi. In the Anatomy of Knowledge, I and it make up a unity of opposition. Clarice Lispector. Fear that it all, like when a button is pressed, would start working noisily, mechanically, filling the rooms with movements and sounds living. Anita Phillips. The encounter ends not with apotheos, but orgasm. The story is about spending rather than saving. If the world is a violent, mean, and sordid place, the masochist rejects transcendence as a way of handling it. Avital Ronell. Sometimes the state has a hand in it. And Walid Rad. I no longer know if it is real. The title Action Panties pays homage to Valley Export's 1968 performance in Munich, later exhibited as Action Pants, Genital Panic. She sits on a bench against a wall of doors, legs spread, wearing crotchless trousers and a leather shirt, holding a machine gun. While experimental filmmakers showed their work, Export positioned her exposed, hairy pussy at eye level, challenging women's historical representation as passive objects, denied and devoid of agency. Many versions of the performance have been mythologized both by the audience and by the author, and by the artist. In Murcia, I scouted locations for my own performance. I wanted to soapbox with no one to hear. That's a lie. It was captured. I came across a seemingly abandoned shack with pain graffitied on steel paneling. I didn't expose my hairy pussy like Export. At this point, I mused, what's the point I'm trying to make? I wore a virginal-esque white nightie in broad daylight with brand developer Jessica Carter documenting for her own project on Clarice Lispector. Export wanted to be provocative, to provoke, and I wanted to wear all white with no audience other than Carter, to be vague with my intentions for being there. I stood on a brick, barefoot. I waited for a defiant gesture to take hold and usher in a new event. There is always something unsaid, undone, yet to be said, yet to be done. Sometimes it's a placeholder for something inarticulable, everything undone, everything unsaid, all reduced to a non-referential, lifeless subject. I sound more morose than I intend to. Is my concern about not making enough noise or not making the right noise? I am thinking about what it means to start with Valley Export as a reference and where that reference ended up. I'm thinking about whether or not I missed the mark, the bullseye. If it had concluded differently, maybe with more visible hairy pussy, it would have been said, done, articulated. Rather a placeholder, it takes off its sunglasses and reveals what is really meant to be drawn to this and wind up that.